Leslie. How are you?
Hi. Hi, nice to meet you.
Such big shoes you had to fill there. Such big shoes, just being a part of this project and
Um,
playing the mom.
yeah.
Like, I want to talk about some of the challenges that you
Mhm.
face stepping into these high heel shoes as Danielle and Amy's mom. Like, what was that like for you, Leslie?
Well, the character, the woman, was a really complex and interesting character because she is an alcoholic who is sober and in recovery, but for not a tremendously long time. Um, so I got to uh, explore the behaviors that she demonstrated when the girls were little and how that affected them, and especially Danielle, you know, um, and caused or maybe aided and abetted some of the problems that she had to deal with. So that when we meet her at this time in her life, she's working very hard on her sobriety and trying very hard to be there for Danielle, but she still is conflicted and has resentments from the past. And so there was a big journey, a big arc for this character. And that's what is always very interesting to me.
Would you say it's safe to say that the mom had a closer relationship with Amy more so than Danielle? I feel like watching the film, I'm like, okay, so I'm trying to make sense of this. It seems like Danielle is closer, a little bit closer with her father,
Mhm.
and the mom and Amy is much closer to the mom.
Yeah, I think that the mother in this case felt that Amy was an easier child to bring up, and she was more uh, compliant when she was little, whereas Danielle really was the one who was taking care of everything. And the mom didn't know that. So that when Amy gets cancer, um, the mother is extraordinarily protective of her and expects and wants Danielle to continue the job that she did, which was basically being a second mother to her. And that's not, that's not what Danielle wants, nor does is there any room for the mother to be mothering to Danielle because she's still so focused now on her daughter and her daughter's cancer.
Yeah. Would you say it's safe to say that the mom also still somewhat had that love for her ex-husband? Because I felt like there was something going on with that relationship dynamic as well. And I kind of wish like I was able to see like what led, the mom to drinking. Was it her husband's like selfishness? Because he also seemed to be kind of a little bit full of himself. Is that what drove her to drinking? And it seemed like the love was still in the room.
Yeah, well, nothing can drive another person to drink, really, but people use alcohol and use drugs, to self-medicate when they're unable to cope or unable or feeling adrift or feeling, so you're right, feeling lonely or feeling, but they don't have other tools to address that. So they medicate those feelings away. So it's complex. I mean, I think the reason that she drank was probably very complicated. He is a narcissist and he was full of himself, and and a lot of that comes out in that sort of tirade or that rant that she has, that the mom has with Danielle at the AA meeting. Um, but she has her own guilt and she has her own issues, that had to do with her sister. And, so I think it's a complicated journey for that character. And that's what made it interesting for me.
Yeah. What made you say yes when you first came across this script and obviously went through all of the steps to get to where you are now, sitting here doing an interview with me
Mhm.
about this project? Why was it so important for you to say yes to this opportunity?
I think that it's a very relevant piece. I think that it has great value for women and for the men and or women who partner them, because it's a tremendously difficult choice, painful and traumatic, to make a decision to, alter your body in that way, in the ways that she chooses to do ultimately. And I think that that question is, not a common one for many women. They're faced with this question: do I want to do this very traumatic thing to myself, or do I want to face the fear of getting cancer on a daily basis? So it's a very important and painful decision to make, and I think I think it has tremendous value.
And before I let you go, talk to me a little about the energy on set. What was the energy like? Because obviously this is a sad story, right? But it's true. It's very raw. It's very authentic. It's humorous. It's also light. It's beautiful. Just the depiction of like the love and the support that the sisters and Pat had with Danielle, so on and so forth. What was the on-set energy like?
It changed with every scene. So when the sisters are together, there's exactly what you said. There's so much love and so much care, and the mother is kind of comes in as a powerful force on her own, and that Danielle's reaction to her mom created that tension that was in the scene, which lives in the actors while they're preparing to do those scenes. So it really depended on what we were shooting. The party scenes were more fun, but I think all of us kind of worked at trying to keep a lighter feeling in the makeup trailer, or in the, when we weren't shooting, so that we didn't have to carry the enormity of that difficult subject matter with us at every moment.
Beautiful. What are your hopes from the viewers? And once this story is like shared on the big screen, like what do you hope that viewers and audiences across the globe most resonate with?
Well, I hope, I hope that they are willing to look at it from their own vantage point in terms of whatever they might be dealing with, or their relative, or their child, or, so that they can understand what that decision-making process entails, and how traumatic it is for the person making the decision, but for the family members around that person. And I think that that will be tremendously helpful to people who are maybe ashamed or afraid, who don't want to talk about this kind of issue with other people. I just think it has great value.
Lesley, such a pleasure. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you. Nice to meet you.